Good afternoon. My name is Brian Grzymkowski. I'm one of the Assistant Directors of Graduate Admissions here at William Paterson University. I want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule to join us today for our registration webinar for both our 2017 summer session and fall semester. The hope is to cover a lot of ground in a relatively short amount of time. I know you probably have family, work, and other obligations that keep you busy, and we appreciate you taking the time to join us. And again, I want to make sure everybody is aware we are going to be making this presentation available in its entirety on our YouTube channel, usually within a couple days of the completion of this presentation. So if you need to leave early for one reason or another, just know that you are going to get an email that includes this information, so you can always refer back to this as you go through the process of registering for your classes. So with that being said, I'm going to jump right into it. Here you have an aerial view of the William Paterson University campus. If you haven't been on our campus yet, or you're not familiar with the area, I figured a quick snapshot from above might be helpful. This is Pompton Road here that runs alongside the main part of campus, and you'll see the small pond that's there to designate. This is one of our larger parking lots with student parking available. The other is a little bit further into campus and is also available through our back entrance that cuts through towards North Haledon, and you'll see the solar panels give it away. And then we also have a large parking area in the back with solar panels as well. This small brick building here next to a much larger brick building is Morrison Hall. That's where the Graduate Admissions Office and a number of our other offices, including Student Services, the Registrar's Office, and Financial Aid are located. Again, I know it's tough for context, but just wanted you to get the chance to see the campus and at least have a basic understanding of where some of the buildings are located that might be helpful for you first and foremost. This is the graduate web registration timetable that's been provided by our registrar's office, and you'll see the calendar of dates in which registration becomes available for different populations of our graduate students. So for the first two in particular, those are for continuing graduate students. The first on April 6th, which is today, is for those continuing graduate students who are in matriculated programs. And then on April 10th is continuing graduate students within certification and endorsement programs. So as of today, those of you who are continuing grad students in a matriculated program can go online now and register for your courses. That will become available to our graduate cert and endorsement students on the 10th, and then postmaster, non-degree, and finally on April 20th, all graduate students, both new and continuing, are eligible to register for courses and able to log online and do so at your convenience. So that is both for the summer session and the fall semester. So I wanted to make sure you had the chance to see that. That's available on the registrar's website, but just so you can have an idea of when you will be able to log in and register for courses, I wanted everyone to have the opportunity to see that quick. This screenshot is here real quick of the graduate admissions page, primarily so you can see one of several places that you can get the contact information for your respective program director. And you'll see in this case I chose biology and biotechnology. The program chair, Professor Michael Peak. His contact information is there in that white box on the left-hand side, and you'll see that his email address, his phone number, as well as the department's program page is there. And this is true for all of our programs. If you go right by the programs A to Z or the programs by college, you can simply pull up your respective program, click on the link, and then you should see their contact information right there in the lower left-hand corner. I can't stress enough, program directors are a wonderful point of contact for our grad students. They are perhaps the most knowledgeable, as you might imagine, both in terms of the content, in terms of the course schedule and structure, the way the curriculum is laid out for their individual program. So if you do have unique circumstances that pop up, if you have questions, if you just need somebody to bounce ideas off of to get a sense of what schedule might be right for you as a grad student for your individual program, I would recommend reaching out to the program director. And then under the program webpage link that's there for each of our departments, there is oftentimes contact contact for all of the faculty within the department or many of the faculty within the department, and then more information about the way the curriculum is laid out, courses, credits, etc. So just know that that's an exceptional resource for you as you start to plan to get ready to register for your courses. And if you haven't touched base or been in communication with the program director, I would encourage you to do so. They would be able to advise you on course registration better than anyone else. Email account, and this is here early on in the presentation because I can't stress enough, it's very important for you to get familiar with our online email account that's been assigned to you, and to make sure that you're checking that correspondence regularly. And the reason I say that is because all of the important notifications that will come through our office, financial aid, student enrollment services, and a number of the different offices here on campus, including the registrar, will come to you through your William Paterson University email account. And I know many of you have Gmail accounts and Hotmail and Yahoo accounts that you use for personal purposes, and obviously that's fine too, but you will be getting correspondence from the university, and it has the potential to be very important for you. So I want to make sure that if you haven't checked your email account yet, that you do so, and that you get in the habit of checking it at least a couple times per week so that you don't miss anything important. And you'll see some of the ways that it plays in a little bit further down in the presentation. But you can go to wpunj.edu, which is the William Paterson website. Click WP Connect, which is our online portal, and I'll talk about it a little bit more in a moment, from the top left-hand corner. And then you enter your username, and that is the first part of your student email address here. It's oftentimes last name or part of a last name, and then the first initial of your first name. But if you have a fairly commonplace name, it's possible you may have some numbers in there as well. So in this instance, Smith B is the example that we've used, and then the password is your student ID number, which starts with an 855. You'll hear many in the different departments here refer to your 855 number. That's your student ID. And then you'd click Login. And finally, click the Email tab in order to be able to access that email account. How to register. This gives you a little bit of a visual. You can see that's part of the website up there at the top, and the WP Connect link is circled. That's what you click to go to the login screen for WP Connect. And again, you would use the credentials that I referenced before, the login along with the password, which is your 855 number. You may be prompted to review and acknowledge the university alcohol and drug policy, so you just can move forward and do so, and then confirm your PIN, which in most instances is a 6-digit date of birth, day, month, year. And we've given you an example there for June 12th, 1990. And if you run into any issues, if you try logging in, you're getting an error message, it's not working. As a backup for the password, I would recommend trying the last 6 digits of your 855 number, your student ID number. Between the two, most students find that they're able to log in without any issue. And then lastly, you would complete a security question, provide an answer, and that's what you'll be using to access your account moving forward. And with WP Connect, it is the portal for most everything you will be doing as a student. You can look at grades, you can make payments, you can register for courses. So again, this is a place that you want to be very familiar with. If you haven't accessed WP Connect, if you haven't logged into your email, I would recommend take some time this evening or this weekend and just familiarize yourself with them a little bit. So when it is time to register for courses, you feel comfortable doing so and you're used to navigating that section of our website. Here is a series of snapshots that shows how you go about registering for courses through WP Connect. You'll see, and under the student tab, there's a whole host of links that are there. But under registration, you'll see one of them is look up course offerings, as is circled in the top left-hand corner. You can then search by term. Obviously, if you're taking courses for the summer session, you would select summer 2017. If you're taking courses for the fall semester, you would select fall 2017. And then at the bottom, you would click submit there as it's circled. And then on the right-hand side, you'll see that you can search based on subject. You know, if you're going to be taking courses for our English program, you could search by English. You can select the schedule type if you're looking for a particular type of course, instructional method if you're only looking to take online courses or only hybrid or only on campus, and then lastly, and perhaps most importantly, you want to make sure you select graduate if you are only interested in taking graduate coursework. The list is much longer if you select undergrad or include all, and that way it lets you get to the root of the courses you're looking for much quicker. So that is a visual of how you go from the go-to or the WP Connect screen to the term, and then to actually starting to filter for some of the classes that you might be seeking. Here's some of the different codes that show up, and when you first get to the screen after you've filtered by a subject, there is a lot going on the screen. And if you haven't registered for courses anytime in the recent past, it can be a little bit daunting, and there's a lot to digest at once. So I'm going over just a couple of the codes before we get to that screen. There are a couple of codes on the left-hand side that might mean that you're not able to register for a course either at that time or until something is taken care of. You'll see NR is a not allowed for registration. This usually just means that the enrollment period isn't open for that class yet. So if you started looking at courses online before you're actually able to register, that might be why you would see the NR. And there's also SR, which is a student restriction. And this typically means that you as an individual student have some type of restriction that might be preventing you from registering for courses. It could be your status, it could be a hold. There are a number of things that could prevent you from doing so, and why that SR would show up, and we'll talk about some of those things in a little bit as well. And then you may also see a C, which means that the class is closed. That usually means that the section has no available seats. Now know that many courses have multiple sections, so just because one is full doesn't mean that another won't have availability, but that is something that you may see especially later in the registration process. And then you'll see that some of our courses are online, which means that they utilize technology like Blackboard and do not meet in person. We have some hybrid courses that utilizes online technology but also meets periodically in a classroom setting. And then two things you'll see at the bottom. CRN number is the course registration number. That is the primary number that is used to designate one course from another. It's usually 5 digits, and we gave an example there. And then, as I mentioned, some courses have multiple sections. So there is a section number after to help differentiate between multiple sections that have the same name and similar CRN numbers. So just something to keep in mind as you're going through and looking at that screen. And here is what it looks like after you've done a search. In this case, we were looking at a number of different courses that fall within English, as I referenced before, and you'll see the different CRN numbers. You'll see the subject, the course number, the section, the number of credits for each of the courses, the title, the day of the week that the course is held, the time that it's taking place, a number of information about the number of seats available for the course, the capacity that it has, if there is a wait list, and if there is a wait list, how many spots are still available, and then you'll see information about the instructor, the dates that the course runs, where it's located, etc. So again, there's a lot going on when you're looking at it, but when you drill down and you working closely and looking for one particular course or two, it's a lot easier to discern what it is that you're trying to find and to register for the course. In addition, and I'll go over just a couple things real quick, you can see another snapshot at the top just so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Most of this is self-explanatory, or a fair amount of it is self-explanatory, but for days of the week, M is Monday, T is Tuesday, W is Wednesday, R is Thursday, which is a little bit less commonplace, F is Friday, and S is Saturday. As of right now, we aren't offering Sunday courses, so those would be the dates that you would encounter. If you see TBA listed under time, that is usually indicative of it being an online course. Sometimes those receive the time in which they're taking place a little bit later, or obviously it can vary a bit because it's an online scenario. Every once in a while a course is being moved or something's being added late. TBA can sometimes be for a physical course, but most often when you're looking at it, you'll see it's for an online course. The cap is the maximum capacity for a given course. ACT is the actual current number of students that are registered for that course. The remaining is how many seats are still available, so you can see it a snapshot if you have to move very quickly or if perhaps you have some time. Waitlist cap is the capacity for the course. Most instances, the waitlist is 5, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. How many waitlist spots remain, the instructor, date, and then location for where the course is held. And what you'll see on the left-hand side is there is a checkbox next to each of the CRN courses. When you're searching and a course is available to you to register, you would check on the checkbox and then you would click register on the bottom. When you do that, you'll be prompted to enter your alternate PIN. Again, that's your 6-digit date of birth. And then you will receive a acknowledgement that'll pop up regarding the financial responsibility with registering and taking a course. So that is the step in order to move forward and actually select and register for a course. And you can see that there's a C there. So in that case, one of those courses is full, and you'll see that's because it has a capacity of 20. The actual is currently at 20, and there is a wait list, so there would be students that are waiting to register for that course. You wouldn't be able to select it to register, but any of the ones where the checkbox is available, you can currently register for those courses as they're not currently at capacity. And here you'll see, and I'll talk a little bit in greater detail before I delve too deeply into this, but the first thing I would stress is make sure that you have a plan as you're going through and you're getting ready to register for courses. And what I mean by that is make sure you've thought about your professional schedule, your family schedule. Make sure that you've spoken to the program director or another faculty member within the department if that's applicable, and you have an idea of what courses you should be taking, what courses you can take in order to meet your academic goals, stay on the calendar that you have for yourself in terms of your academics, because if you have done that on the front end, it is less likely that you will find yourself in a place where you need to drop any of the courses that you may have registered for. And you'll see that you can see your courses under Add Drop Classes. You can see what you're currently registered for and that it was web registered under Status, and you can select the option to web drop that course if you need to. But the reason I mention having a plan in place is because while you can drop a class, you are not able to drop down to 0 credits. So if you've registered for 9 credits, which is oftentimes 3 courses, and you say to yourself, oops, I registered for the wrong one, you can very easily drop one of those courses and make the switch to the class that you need. But if you've registered for 2 classes and you realize, oops, I made a mistake on both, or actually I don't need those 2 courses, or whatever the case may be, you're not able to drop down to 0 credits yourself online through WP Connect. You will need the assistance of the registrar's office, and or you will need to submit a leave of absence form or a withdrawal form, depending on your circumstances and depending on the reason in which you are dropping those courses. So again, it's not that you can't drop the course. We understand circumstances happen. If you need to take a leave for health reasons, for family reasons, that's certainly understandable, and you can fill out that form online. If you've decided, sorry, I'm not going to pursue this graduate program at all or at this time, and you need to withdraw from the university, you could submit a withdrawal form. And lastly, after dropping courses, if you realize I need to defer my acceptance to a later term, circumstances have changed, and you don't need to take a leave of absence, we can always do that for you as well. So there are steps to drop down to 0 credits, but just know that you will receive an error message if you try to do that yourself. And again, with the help of the registrar's office and with filling out one of those 2 forms, we'll be able to take care of that for you, ensure that those courses are dropped in a timely fashion for yourself. Non-degree status. Some of you in attendance today may be taking courses as a non-degree student. Some of you may take courses in the future as a non-degree student, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about what that is and what that means. Students who are graduate non-degree student can take up to 9 grad credits without being matriculated in a program, and typically that's 3 courses. If you wish to proceed beyond those limits, you have to either gain acceptance into a grad program or get permission from a program director or faculty advisor in order to move on and take additional courses as a non-degree student. And the question might pop up, why would a student take courses non-degree versus just applying right to the program of interest? And sometimes it's an application situation, perhaps a requirement for a program. You might need to take the GREs, the GMATs, take a test, fulfill a requirement that you at this time aren't able to. You might be a great fit for the program. You might meet all of the academic requirements, but you may look at your calendar and say, I really want to take courses and get a head start for the summer and not have to wait for the fall while I wait to take my GMAT or my GRE. And that's the opportunity for some of our students to start taking grad level coursework, to start to take the courses that they will need to fulfill a degree, but not be matriculated in the program at that time. And obviously the goal for those students is to get accepted into the program after they've completed those courses and then have those courses count towards completing their degree. I do want to stress that the completion of courses as a non-degree student does not guarantee you acceptance into a program. You still have to fulfill all of the admissions requirements. You still have to meet their requirements as a department for acceptance into their program. And then not all of our courses or all of our programs are available for non-degree students. So if you're thinking about this as a possible option for yourself, can't stress enough. Reach out to the program director, talk through your circumstances, talk through your academic goals, and together you can determine if this might be a good fit for yourself now or in the future. Waitlist. As I referenced, if you've registered for a course and have been waitlisted, you'll find that each of our courses has a capacity of 5, and you'll see the waitlist capacity there of 5. There are 5 spots for each of our courses. This ties back into what I said earlier about how important the WP Connect email account is, your WPU email address. You would receive notification if a seat becomes available to you and you are on the wait list through your student.wpunj.edu email address. So if you are in the habit of only checking it once a month or every 2 weeks, and you are on the wait list for a course and you really, really need that course or want to take that course, you will likely miss that notification because after you receive it, you will have 48 hours to log online into WP Connect and manually register for that course. So I would recommend, not only if you are waitlisted, but most definitely if you are waitlisted for a course, to make sure you're checking it regularly, whether that's having it set up so that the email is pushed to your phone, whether that's just getting in the habit on your laptop, PC, or otherwise to log in regularly and just check it a couple times a week, because again, any really truly important notification from the university is going to come to you through that email address. And whether you want to set it up so that email pushes to another email account, whatever works for you, there are options to make it even more convenient. But again, it could be the difference between you getting into a waitlisted course and not. So I want to make sure you're aware of that and how the process works. Why can't I register? It's a very common question. You may have different error messages that pop up when you try and register for a course, or see some of those codes that I referenced before on the left-hand side that's preventing a checkbox from populating that would allow you to select a course and register for it. So registration ad errors. One that is not uncommon is approval by academic chair. You may need a requirement that you haven't fulfilled. You may just need a program director to basically approve your ability to take a particular course. In that instance, if you see that error message like the one above, you would reach out to the program director, let them know the course that you were hoping to take. They may talk to you a little bit about your academic background or otherwise, so you just want to make sure that you have information about how to proceed with that you've been in a dialogue with the program director, and they are the ones, as I referenced, that would be able to take care of this for you. Also, prerequisites. Some of our courses have a series of prerequisites that are required, and maybe one course and maybe 2 courses, and if you haven't taken that course, you are not going to be able to register for the course of interest. So you want to make sure that you have those prerequisites met. If they aren't met, you may have to take an additional course, whether it's undergrad or grad, but there are instances where the program director can say, you know what, I looked over your transcript or I talked with the student, I feel that they are able to take this course, so I'm going to give them the authorization to do so. And they would let us know, and we would remove any hold or otherwise that might prevent you from registering for that class and make sure that you're able to do so. Student restriction. Registration ad errors, as I mentioned before. In this instance, if you see that SR there on the left-hand side that's preventing that checkbox from popping up, what you would need to do is you would simply have to go on the student tab and you will see that there is the option to review your holds. You will see that there are a number of different options that could pop up. There are a number of different types of holds that could exist. It could be an immunization hold. Perhaps there was an immunization document you needed to submit. It could be a financial aid instance. It could be a payment issue. Any of those things can cause a hold. In this case, we put on a test, a grad admissions hold for a non-degree student. If you have exceeded the 9 credits you can take as a non-degree student, a hold can be placed on your account. And again, you would need to either matriculate into a program or get permission from the program director to move forward and take additional courses. Whatever the hold may be, it's usually as simple as sending an email, making a phone call, or coming to campus quick, stopping by Morrison Hall, the Student Enrollment Services desk, and they can walk you through the hold and make sure that either they help you with getting the hold lifted or taking whatever step might be necessary, or putting you in touch with whomever is the appropriate point of contact to do so. So again, just because you see that, don't panic. There's always a reason, and then there's always a way to get it lifted for you, and oftentimes the same day or the following day, so you're able to register for the course of interest. Payment options. You can make a cash payment in person, which is, again, at Morrison Hall. The counter, when you first walk in for Student Enrollment Services, is right there, and that's one of the quickest and easiest ways to get some of your most basic questions answered, to make payments, etc. You can also make payment by check or money order, and you'll see the address there. Please be sure that you include your 855 number, your student ID on any check or money order. Students sometimes have the same name, and we want to make sure we give you credit, not the person that might happen to share your last and or first name. So make sure that you keep that in mind. You can also pay in person with check or money order at the Student Services desk. And then also you can do an internet check payment or an e-check online, and you'll see that that's available through WP Connect, and the direct address is there. And then you can make a payment online with a credit card. Please note that there is a convenience fee of 2.75% to choose that option. And then we also have our tuition installment plan, our TIP plan, which you may have heard of, which breaks tuition payments up into smaller payments throughout the course of the semester or the year. And there's more information available through the Student Enrollment Services website about our TIP plan and our payment plans. And then lastly, important contacts. Again, I can't stress enough. Most of these offices that would be of primary interest to you are located in Morrison Hall. Almost all of our offices here are open 8:30 to 4:30, Monday through Friday. The exception is the Office of Student Enrollment Services, which sometimes has evening hours on top of those hours available to assist students with any questions that might pop up or issues that might pop up. So I can't stress enough, if you do have any issues, feel free to stop by Morrison Hall. We can take care of most any problem that you might encounter. I know sometimes there are very unique circumstances that pop up based on academic background, based on scheduling needs, based on course issues that might pop up, and we want to make sure we're able to take care of those for you. So again, feel free to stop by our office. We're happy to help. Certainly the Office of Student Enrollment Services is a wonderful resource for you, as is the Office of the Registrar. Again, if you found yourself in a position where you had to drop courses down to 0 credits for one reason or another, they would be the ones that would assist you through that process. And again, I know it's a very busy time of year. I know that you likely have family and job commitments, studying and otherwise, and we appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to join us today for our webinar. I certainly hope that this was helpful for you and that we were able to answer all of your questions, but I am going to stick around for a couple minutes. If you do have any other questions, if you have specific circumstances, you can feel free and type your question in the chat box there. I'm happy to answer them for you. And lastly, I can't stress enough, this is going to be made available in its entirety on our YouTube channel within a couple days. You will receive an email that includes the link to this presentation. So if you have to refer back, if you joined us late, if you had to leave early, that will hopefully afford you the opportunity to refer back before you go and you register for your courses. And again, this is meant to be a helpful and convenient method to do so. And lastly, we're looking forward to seeing you on campus, whether it's for the summer session or the fall or both. We'll see you soon enough, and thank you for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your day, and enjoy your weekend. Take care.